All right, everybody. On this episode, we are going to talk about WrestleMania Backlash. That's right, WrestleMania Backlash, not just normal Backlash. On all the results on today's episode of Tap Out Talk. Boom! Let's get right in. We have Tap Out Talk and we have our immediate reviews and thoughts from tonight's pay-per-view. So, first thought of the night is WrestleMania Backlash. And this is the best WrestleMania Backlash we've ever had in the history of the WWE. Now, wait a minute though. We've never had a WrestleMania Backlash. So, I guess that is a fair but yet kind of duh statement. Our pay-per-view's always been Backlash after WrestleMania, but this year we decided to put the WrestleMania branding on it. So I want to let you guys know a little bit why this happened. WWE realized with their deal with Peacock that they didn't just want to take the money and run. So they decided, well, we want to get the most we can out of the WWE brand on Peacock. So they took the WrestleMania and made it 2 nights long. On WrestleMania weekend. And then they said, you know what, let's go ahead and bleed that over into Backlash and put the tagline WrestleMania in front of it. That way we can get the most bang for our buck and people are watching WrestleMania all month long on the first month or so of Peacock. And that's all well and good. So they dug into their little branding bag of tricks. But how are we going to get past that in the future? I got a little spoiler for maybe a future episode we may be talking about here on Tap Out Talk. And I think it will involve the King of the Ring coming back. So you guys like nostalgia and you want to see a tournament on Peacock, I could see King of the Ring being that pay-per-view in the future. But today we're going to talk about WrestleMania Backlash. And so you take that branding idea and you want to make it the best ever and you throw a Monday Night Raw type show in it and you throw some matches that are like, they're not the best, they're not the worst, but nothing really changed, and it was just a night of watching some wrestling tonight. So let's go ahead and start in. My original previews and predictions on this one were, as you see here, I felt that no championships would change, no major ones anyway. Rhea Ripley still remains champion. Bobby Lashley remains champion, and the tribal chief is still ahead of the family, Roman Reigns. We're going to talk about how these things came about tonight. But as you can see here, yeah, all of our champions have returned, and they will be returning this week on Raw and SmackDown as they leave WrestleMania Backlash. So we have a little bit of a WrestleMania post-hangover, and we're going to see who does have the hangover in tonight's episodes. Getting into our first match was actually on the pre-show, and it was Sheamus taking on his U.S. Championship in his Open Challenge, and we didn't know who was going to participate in the Open Challenge tonight. So Sheamus came out, cut a promo on the pre-show, and as we all wait, we hear some crazy music, and then all of a sudden it is the WWE's version of the superhero Ricochet coming down to save the day from the very bad promo of Sheamus that he was cutting. Ricochet comes in the ring. He does a lot of his work that he does. He does a lot of high flying, mixes with Sheamus's style and brute style. So these two put on a little bit of a pre-show match. It's about what you expect. And at the end, it does end with Sheamus getting and defending his title over Ricochet, aka Prince Puma for Lucha Underground fans out there. So, you know, they're not really doing much with Ricochet, but they are at least, you know, showing him on the pre-show. At least he's gotten, you know, to stay warm up from eating some muffins there back in the catering. So congratulations. I do think it is the right call, though. Sheamus does need to have a little bit of a lengthy title with this U.S. title. He is the bigger star at this point. Let's move to the main card. We've got the Women's Raw Championship. And as I mentioned before, we had Rhea Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte Flair looks a little different. I can't put my finger on it. I can't put, is it the nose? Is it the lips? The mouth? Did she get a haircut? Something's different about Charlotte here. And since she's come back, I can't tell what's different, but there is something different about this talented female wrestler. And it's not her wrestling ability. That's not changed. She's still a decent wrestler. So something's different about Charlotte, and I'm wondering what it is. If you guys can tell me, let me know in the comments. So what I see here is they squeezed Charlotte into this match, last minute and made it a triple threat. This was supposed to be Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley being the champion coming out of Mania. And the match ended with Rhea Ripley getting the pin on Asuka after a bunch of chaos. And as you can imagine, the match actually set up our next championship match that should be coming down the line here for the Raw Women's Championship. It ended with Rhea Ripley up on the ropes, holding up her title, and Charlotte Flair pointing to it like it's the WrestleMania sign, because, we have to have a WrestleMania type thing to point at. So doing the WrestleMania point to the sign, saying she wants her title shot. And then this is going to allude to their WrestleMania match that they had 2 years ago at WrestleMania. And so you can tell this story is going to move forward. Now, what's this going to mean for Asuka? I'm not quite sure, because she's stuck into a middle spot, and it really, breaks my heart, because Asuka was the most dominant female that they've had on this show in a long time. But right now they are going to move forward with Rhea and Charlotte. And yes, these two have good chemistry together, so I could see them going on and having a decent match. So at least they got a plan, and this was the step to get them even further than that. So we got Asuka out of the picture, and now we got Charlotte back in pointing at the belt. Let's go ahead. In our next match, we have the SmackDown Tag Team Championships being defended, and the Dirty Dawgs, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, are going to defend their titles tonight against the father-son combo, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Really good matchup, back and forth. I always enjoy the lucha style wrestling, and Dolph Ziggler, can work a match, and Bobby Roode is a good wrestler as well. So these four really just kind of put together a nice, steady, fluid tag team match. A lot of hot tags, a lot of just bouncing around the ring, a little bit of action. It was sometimes hard to follow, but at the end of the day, it really did kind of take you on or who is going to win this? Oh, maybe the Mysterios will win and make history, and maybe the Dirty Dawgs will retain and keep their heel heat. At the end of the day, it was the Mysterios winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and it's the first time ever when a father and son has ever won these titles together. So congratulations to Rey and Dominic. I still remember little Dominic when he had his custody ladder match at SummerSlam against Uncle Eddie and his father Rey for the custody of him. And look at this. Here he is years later involved in the WWE and actually wrestling and performing and not doing too bad. So congratulations on the Mysterios. And I feel like this is that moment why Rey Mysterio extended his contract with the WWE. He wanted to be able to wrestle with his son in the industry and actually maybe be able to win something on the big stage. So seriously, I applaud them. They deserve it. I really think I don't want the WWE to do anything with the Dirty Dawgs. I want them to go on and continue to be a good heel champion tag team, because I feel like those guys gel and they're relevant enough. And if they were split up, I don't know what the WWE would really do with Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode at this point. So I would definitely keep the Dirty Dawgs together, and I would definitely keep the Mysterios together. And we could be getting the Usos back together, so stay tuned. We might actually start having a tag team with real tag team names in the WWE. So congratulations to the Mysterios. All right, we have Damien Priest versus The Miz. This is the fallout from WrestleMania when Miz took on Bad Bunny. Miz and Morrison versus Bad Bunny and Damien Priest. This match, they kept telling you all night that this whole show, WrestleMania Backlash, was presented by the Army of Dead, or Army of the Dead, the new movie with Batista. And then there was just weird stuff happening tonight, and Batista was tweeting stuff like maybe he'll send some of his friends to the show, and there was just a lot of you're like, okay, whatever, Batista, get off the screen. And as we went into this match, The Miz come out ready to take on Damien Priest. Morrison was there also to kind of help him out. And then the match got really weird really quick, because this was supposed to be a lumberjack match. And what happened was the ring was surrounded by lumberjacks, but they were zombies. So I guess Batista sent from his fake movie zombies to the WWE to be lumberjacks for the Miz match. And there's a lot of smoke and effects, and it was just zombies outside the ring, and somehow they couldn't get in the ring. And it was just really awkward, honestly. And the Miz looked like the scared heel and tried to make it work. And then Morrison as well kind of did like he was battling in a movie, like a Resident Evil movie, and he was doing some of his carport type stuff, kicking and trying to make it work. But man, it was just really lame, guys. It didn't work for me. And I usually appreciate the theatrics a lot of times, but this one was just odd. And then it ended up with Damien Priest winning. And then it ended up with Miz and Morrison just getting eaten by the horde of zombies who all of a sudden could get in the ring. And then after a commercial, they were gone, and we never seen the zombies again. So, which I'm okay with. But I just felt like this was a ECW on sci-fi type writing. And, I was waiting for vampires and all this other stuff to come up. So this was not my favorite match of the night. They kind of tried to make an entertainment out of it, but it really didn't do any guys any favors. And who knows? I mean, the only value is to say what happened to Miz and Morrison. I mean, are they going to become a zombie dancing boy band or something, right? I don't know. It's almost like they're going to turn them into a joke act. So, but anyway, Damien Priest did get the win, and we'll see what they did with the Miz after this. So let's get on to some actual real wrestling that happened, because that last match was really crazy. We got Bianca Belair, the women's champion, who earned that title at WrestleMania against Sasha Banks. Now going against Sasha's best friend, Bayley. And you have the young and up-and-comer of Bianca Belair and Bayley, who is just like laughing at her when Bianca says, "I'm going to be the greatest of all the time." And Bayley just starts laughing in her face, and she's like, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." She's like, she doesn't even have any idea what she's doing or what's around her in this world. And, it's kind of true because she's a rookie, right? They're playing in this rookie storyline again. And so I see it, and Bianca and Bayley have a really good wrestling match. And they go back and forth. And in the end, Bianca had her first title defense, and it was very successful. So, Bianca, you're 2 for 2 now. You did a good match with Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, and Sasha helped carry you to that. And now you did another good match against her best friend, Bayley. So, 2 good matches in a row. That's awesome. I'm still waiting to see you have a third match against a mediocre opponent, and if you can make it work. If you can make it work, I'm going to definitely say that you are the next best women competitor. So I'm looking for that mediocre match of that girl that you could carry. Maybe it'll be Eva Marie now that she's back. That could be a factor. And if you can carry her to a good match, then you know what? You might be the real deal, Bianca. But so far, I like what I see. Keep doing it. Don't give up. And keep representing, being the EST. We get to the main event. Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre and the almighty Bobby Lashley. I have talked about Lashley and McIntyre on my past episodes of Tap Out Talk, on my Road Back to Dominant storyline, and I respect these guys so much, and now they are here having their battle. Okay, Bobby Lashley was able to come out of WrestleMania as the champion over McIntyre, and now this is kind of his rematch, but Braun Strowman wants in on the action too. So this match was all over the place. They had some good power. They had some good interaction. There were some points back up on the stage where they were knocking up through the lights. There was quite a bit of action just in here and out, in and out of the ring. So at the end of the day, it got down to making Braun look really good, and then it was Braun and Drew kind of battling out in the ring, and Drew was hitting him with a good Claymore, and then all of a sudden, Braun was getting the better of Drew, knocking him down, and out of nowhere, boom, Bobby Lashley hits him with the move, and 1, 2, 3, Bobby Lashley then ends up being your all still WWE champion, Bobby Lashley. So Bobby Lashley retains this match in a very, hectic in and out all over, but he just got it caught at the right place in the right time, and he was able to retain that belt. And when he rolled out of the ring, MVP was with him, and he looked like he wanted to cut a promo, but they kind of just enjoyed it a little bit, and then they went to the back. I think this was the right call. I think that Bobby Lashley should be your long-term champion, the Almighty, under MVP. And I think this is going to have to be all the way up till even SummerSlam. I would like to see him get a match with, as I said in another podcast, I would like to see him get a match with Brock Lesnar eventually, maybe at SummerSlam. So Bobby Lashley definitely has an it factor that we can push, and we should push him. Now, I don't want Drew McIntyre to just fade away, so I'm trying to think, does Drew have a program he could run with Braun Strowman that would get him there? Or I would also like to see Drew have a little side quest with Jinder Mahal to clean up that three-man band stuff and get that out of the way. So the reality is maybe Drew and Jinder can be a nice little sidetrack, and then Bobby can get his main event with Lesnar, and then there's going to be a time where Drew's got to get his belt back. So I think, they can fight through and they can do some good stuff. Let's move ahead. Okay, the main event. We have Roman Reigns, the head of the table, going against Cesaro. And this is so many years to serve for Cesaro. This guy's been in the industry for over 10 years. He's worked his butt off ever since he's come over from Europe. And the Cesaro swing and the strength. And I remember when he picked up the Big Show and body slammed him in the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania. And it wasn't a body slam. He picked him up and walked him a good 5-6 steps and just dumped him. Cesaro is a beast, and he swings people like a beast. The European uppercut's a wicked hit. And you know what? I'm surprised because he was managed by Paul Heyman there for a bit. And we thought he was going to get a really big push. And then it just kind of died out. He went into a tag team with Sheamus. And those two have a great tag team. So they are definitely matched up. They're split up right now, but they could get back together and run the Force again if they wanted. So at this point, this is his biggest title shot he's ever received in his career. And he performed very well in the show. The problem is he's going against a really good heel champion in Roman Reigns. And Roman's got some drama on his end. He's got Jimmy and Jey Uso. He's got Jimmy, who's just not into the whole tribal chief thing. And you got Jey, who's all in. And so you have some dissensions among the Usos there. And then ultimately you have Jey, who is siding with the tribal chief and Roman Reigns. So what's going on is Roman beat Cesaro. He actually didn't pin him, but he made him just pass out. So he got him in a nice little chokehold, made him pass out, and he just dropped. And then all of a sudden, out comes, he's looking at him, and out comes Jey Uso, and he says, I want a piece of him, and Roman says, go ahead. And then he kicks him in the head, knocks him out, and beats him up. So, at the end of the day, these three, Paul Heyman, Uso, and Roman are all in the ring celebrating over a beat-up Cesaro, and you think it's going to end right there. But then all of a sudden, we hear Seth Rollins' music, and out he comes in his crazy suits. And Seth is facing Roman face to face. Old members of the Shield. People are looking, going, what's going on? All of a sudden, Seth starts smiling and laughing. And he walks right past Roman, and he goes towards Cesaro, and he beats down Cesaro till the end of the pay-per-view. And he beats him down so hard, and he screams, you think I forgot about you? You think you can do this to me and get away with this? And he's talking about the WrestleMania loss that he suffers to Cesaro, which got him a title shot. So the Usos and Roman all left, and Rollins did number for a good 2 to 3 minutes. And just beat him down even more. And nobody really came out to save Cesaro. So at that point, the show kind of just went to the end with Rollins looking like he was standing tall. So, guys, that's the end of this pay-per-view tonight. So, there wasn't a lot of that you would have missed. There was a few good points. Don't worry about the zombie stuff for sure. There was also, I think, the return of Seth Rollins was a nice touch. I think the main event with seeing Cesaro get a main event ultimate Universal Championship match was huge. I enjoyed that. I didn't mind seeing Bobby Lashley defend, but some of the Mysterios winning the titles, that was always a fun match to watch. But other than that, there really wasn't too much going on tonight in shocks and surprises. So there was some good things, but this really feels like a Monday Night Raw that we're calling WrestleMania Backlash tonight. So it wasn't like, it was probably better than Monday Night Raw. But realistically, I think it's the chapter to the next step, right? We're going to see Charlotte Flair getting a title shot pretty soon against Rhea Ripley. And then you're going to see Cesaro and Seth Rollins continuing a feud, and that's probably about right. And, I mean, other than that, where does Roman go from here? He's kind of running out of opponents, so I guess we're going to have to stay tuned this week and find out what's next for Roman, and is he going to get both of the Usos in line? Because right now, Jimmy is not feeling like he wants to be part of the Roman Empire, and Jay is definitely all in. So, that's everything I have for you guys, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash review and thoughts. And if you have any of yours, please let me know. So guys, have a good evening. And it's not just goodbye, it's game over.